and social. And we have a real problem. We have a real problem on definitions here. And there is no body, and I mean not person, but there is no institution, there's no standard. And at the moment I find this a slightly worrying dilemma almost. I found this actually years ago when environmental management was becoming popular. But anyway, and there we've got LEED. Now LEED is being seen as a sustainability qualification. It isn't, it's a buildings qualification. And again, I think we're in a problem whereby we've got to communicate what sustainability is all about. It's the three pillars of people, profit and planet, or put another way, environment, social and economic well-being. And these sorts of courses are being, well, misnamed, to put it mildly. This is what I was mentioning in terms of various surveys. I mean, this beyond grey pinstripes. I mean, I look at this every year. I think it's a great study actually. Aspen Institute. They've been doing this for about the last 10 or 11 years. And I didn't know whether to put this up or not, but hopefully this is, might resonate with you. University of Florida's Warrington College of Business Admin is ranked 97. Well, at least you're in the rankings, but I think it could be a little bit higher than that. Enough said about that. Now then, this is where I thought I'd try and be not totally contentious, but I want to give you a flavour of where I come from on certain issues. Now, what we're lacking at the moment is the professionalisation of sustainability. We really are. And higher education actually has a role to play in this. And what I mean by professionalising sustainability is there is no recognised institute for sustainability. If you're, let's say, if you're a lawyer, you're going to get your bar exams, you're going to, be a member of the Law Society, you're not going to be able to practice in a certain state. You've got a whole raft of qualified basics that you have to go through, and obviously institutional recognition. Now, just to give you just a sort of quick flavour of why I'm picking up on this point, and that is, when I was back in, well, sort of let's say 15 years ago, in Europe, suddenly environmental management was all the rage. Everyone was interested in the environment. And I used to say very facetiously, everyone's an environmentalist. Well, sure, everyone was an environmentalist. They had no qualifications and they were setting themselves up as environmental consultants. Now, what was that doing to the profession of environmental consultancy? Well, of course, it was bringing them down, because there were very poor reports being authored. People who had no experience were setting themselves up as an environmental consultant because always, it's all the rage, it's a hip thing to be. We're seeing, I think, a similar sort of situation right now in sustainability. And I've got a couple of examples, even where I am at the moment. A couple of colleagues of mine, they've done with me perhaps a sustainability study, and now I'm seeing on their resumes that they're touting around their sustainability experts. Now, how we overcome this is the question. I guess perhaps you folk in this room also have a view on this, but I mean, just to give you an example of when I was first really concerned about the lack of professionalism in environmental management, I went to what I was a member of then, the British Ecological Society, and I said, look, we've got to get some professional qualifications in this. And of course, they weren't interested. They said, we're a learned society, I should go somewhere else. But anyway, luckily enough people in the British Ecological Society were also concerned, and out of that came the Institute of Ecology and Environmental Management, which I was a founding member. Now, I'm seeing a similar situation with sustainability. We need to get professional credentials. We need to have more sustainability courses in universities. We need to have more people with BS sustainability and MBA sustainability and so forth. In other words, set up this sort of professional cadre of people who work in the field. Because at the moment, I think that we're in this similar situation where there's sustainability professional, and this is quite an interesting article, which somebody from GE actually authored. I would love to do a survey of all of the companies who have sustainability VPs or sustainability directors and just see what qualifications they have, because it will not be sustainability. Actually, this was also an interesting article from the New York Times. And again, all of a sudden, there is a recognition now at top management level. The equivalent, if you like, of the COO, CFO is going to be the CSO, the Chief Sustainability Officer. So there's quite a lot hitting the press at the moment, but what we don't see is the equivalent in terms of really what do these people know? Are they, well, they're not licensed to practice, but as I say, I think it's contention. Now then, in the same vein, green jobs. This also was quite an interesting paper, fact or fiction. It's a phrase to be honest, I hate. Whatever a green job is, it's almost as bad as phrase as sustainability, which really doesn't mean very much until you actually start thinking about it. But anyway, there's a lot of movement at the moment in terms of using that phrase, but there again, it's completely without definition. Just very quickly, I think that the other thing, just to pass on from curriculum, just kind of looking at the learning environment. I mean, you've got, 2,000 acres here. Now, I don't know how much of this is actually used for learning purposes. I mean, cross-curricular learning purposes. I mean, do you get the maths groups to go out and do some measurements on trees and actually collect real data, or are they, sort of data crunching, groups of figures which might be meaningless, which I've come across before. In terms of actually using those environments. Also, the government actually have got various greening laboratory initiatives going on at the moment as well. So, I mean, there's a heck of a lot going on at government scales as well. This whole sort of grounds for learning, creating natural environments. I mean, are they using pesticides out here? I mean, I have a feeling they probably are. I've put stormwater runoff here mainly because I have an absolute abhorrence to culverting watercourses and sort of concretising these watercourses, which is ruins the ecology. It might help, if you like, from an engineering point of view, but there are other solutions. There are much more environmentally friendly solutions. And the other big area of mine is, because I've been doing a lot of work with the transportation industry as of the last 3 years, and that's really sort of greening up transportation, not only greening up the vehicles, as it were, but actually getting more people out of their single occupancy cars and into public transit. I've got some more material on plans and what have you, but I think as now I believe you've got quite a lot of material in your plans. I'm not going to go further into this. The only point I'd make about this, and I actually drew up this strategy for a client of mine actually, is that the goals must really be backed up by sustainability baseline assessment. In other words, where are we now? Where do we want to get to? And where we want to get to is, where are we falling short? So in other words, where we want to be, where we are now, what's the gap, and how do we actually tackle that? I'm a believer in these master plans. I've done a few master plans for clients of ours, particularly in energy. So if you roll up these master plans, energy, water, waste, carbon, what have you, and then obviously roll that up into implementation. But this is the other important thing. Is actually let the world know what you're doing. Even if you're falling short, if the outside community, whether it's government, national, or whoever, can actually see that you're on the right track, that that you've actually got